On a night like any other, on a street like any other, there is a man riding a bicycle down the center of the road. The street is calm and empty. The buildings that he's going to, however, seem to be bustling with energy. As you pull into the parking lot, you see there's a few bikes scattered about, there's a few cars. There's a light coming from beneath the door, but this place isn't the kind of place that has an brightly lit open sign. The residents of the town just simply know when it's open. And it being about 9 p.m., it's still open for a few more hours. Just enough time to get done what you need to get done.
Oh, there's no bouncers there.
There is not. This is just kind of more of a bar that makes its own stuff.
Then Heinrich will open the doors and step inside.
You open up the door. The scene inside is something that a lot of people may call depressing. To the left of you, there's a woman quietly sobbing into a beer bottle. She looks to have had many already. There's just empty bottles, cans, and mugs, one of which is spilled a bit, just lying about here. To your right is an older man, a sailor. You probably saw him before, might have recognized him from his youth. Daniel Boder. He's a fairly nice man that, well, just kind of keeps his head low. And sitting at the bar, you see a rather young man, maybe in his mid to early 20s. Fairly new to town, and let's just say you've probably picked a fight or two with him by this point. He's not one of the calmer people of the town. Behind the counter, you see Fred Johnson, the owner of Brumoth Brewery. His heavily tattooed arm reaches up, grabs a bottle off the top of the shelf, slowly polishes it off. He doesn't seem to have noticed that you came in.
I think Heinrich gives the younger gentleman a bit of a stink eye before approaching the bar away from him. Sitting down and knocking on the bar twice to get the man's attention.
He spins around, looking at you. Oh, Heinrich. It's been a bit, isn't it?
It has been a while, yes. I'm looking for a drink or two.
Oh. What you looking for? Anything special, or?
Your strongest.
Oh. Well, you sure about that? I mean, you're probably a tough guy, but,
I'm sure.
alright. Well, how do you feel about being test subject? Michelle's been working on something new that, honestly, I'm not wanting to try out myself.
Hit me with it.
Alright, he smiles, nods, and heads to the back room. There's a few bottles clinking that you can hear, and he comes back out with a mason jar full of a yellowish-brown liquid.
Is this piss?
What? He just looks at you. No?
Good.
He just stares at you for a moment.
He stares back.
So, this is something that Michelle used using some of the eyeglass that we get from the fishery. She did something different with, some of the corn that we got, as well as some berries in the forest. She's calling it the Brumoth special, so... She says it tastes great. He just kind of like takes his hands away. I'm not really about that.
Well, might as well try it out. Then he'll pick it up and knock it back.
This is going to be your first roll. It's just going to be body plus body.
Oh boy. Oh my god, why? Why?
So, Heinrich, you begin to down this as if it's some kind of cheap beer. The second that it hits the back of your throat, you realize this stuff is strong. Perhaps some of the strongest drink that you've had, and that's quite impressive considering that you're Russian. You save face, continue to down it, trying your best not to betray your bit of surprise. Roll me a personality plus body to save face.
God, no. Actually, can I argue that he uses strength by flexing? Strength plus body as he, like, flexes his muscles, his guns.
Alright, go ahead.
Alright, cool. It's a 4.
Remember, the average for a person in this is 8.
Yeah.
So, you start to down it, and you're just like, your eyes bug out for just a moment. You try your best to save face, you start flexing, Fred just stares at you amused. By the time that you put the mason jar back down, it is both empty and you're very heavily feeling it. It is impressive how fast it's working.
Are you sure this is not poison?
Well, last time I asked, she said it wasn't, but, she did try to get me to drink it, so... Here, let me get you a water. He, reaches down beneath the counter, pulls out a glass, hits one of the taps at the bar. Some water comes out. He puts it in front of you.
I think he just guzzles that. He doesn't care anymore.
And as you just guzzle it down, man, that stuff was just so strong. Give me an agility plus smarts to try to accurately put the glass down on the table.
Alright, question. Which hand does he use? Does he use his left or his right? Because his right isn't...
That'll be up to you.
I'll say he uses his right, because it's his metal hand.
You put the glass down on the table. It takes you a tipped more than what you're happy with to put it down accurately, but it's there, it's stable. You didn't break anything. Honestly, that's an accomplishment, as you kind of just see the world around you starting to spin just a little bit. This is maybe what you would normally feel after about 10 through 15 shots of normal alcohol.
What did you say this was in it again? Wait.
Some eyeglass from, the fishery that we normally get, some of the corn from a bit up north, and, some of these berries that Michelle found.
What is these berries?
Just some of the ones in the forest. I can go ask her about it if you'd like.
Yes.
Right.
Yes. Yes.
He nods to you. Starts to head back. You're left there for a moment with just your thoughts, and again the world's spinning. You hear a snicker coming from your left.
Fires his fist at the man next to him.
So your arm fires out, slamming into the man's side. He spits out a bit of the alcohol that he was just drinking. Hey, what's that for?
We're laughing. Reels it in.
He downs the rest of the drink, steps up with the cup. You really want to do this now, man?
Heinrich, like, looks at him, spits in his face.
Being someone a little bit more experienced than this dude in his mid-20s, you spit in his face and you immediately see he is ready for some action.
I think Heinrich's gonna try and, like, trip him. Because he doesn't feel like he's worth throwing a punch. Even though he's worth throwing a fist for.
You sweep his leg. He begins to fall towards the counter. His chin hits the side of it, busting his lip, and he falls to the ground. There's a bit of blood trickling around him. "That all you got?" he says, spitting through blood.
Is that all you have? Weak knees.
You kick this man right in the side. You hear an audible crack as blood begins to pool around him. He's not dead, but he's not going to be happy in the morning.
And do not laugh next time.
What do we got going on in here?
He laughed. He shouldn't have.
A man in a fairly snug uniform comes in, sunglasses covering his eyes. He seems like he was coming here for off-duty, but ended up coming in just in time for this. Heinrich, are you drunk again?
No!
He looks down at Alan, looks back up to you.
Maybe a little. Maybe a lot. I don't know what I just drank. It was fruity and disgusting.
He looks at you and just sighs. Look, man, we're not gonna be able to keep doing this. He pulls out a pad of paper and begins to write on it.
No, I hate that pad. You get that pad away from me.
He hands it over to you.
Don't you do that to me.
It reads 6 months of support group.
No! You can't do this.
Look, they meet twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursdays.
But the Unity Community Center sucks.
Heinrich, this was your third fight this week.
Was it the third? I do not know. Everything is spinning. I don't think I can ride the bike.
I'll give you a ride back. A moment passes as he's just kind of like, just patching up Alan, making sure that, like, all of his bits that are bleeding is fine. Fred comes back out, completely oblivious to the fight that just happened, coming over to see Alan on the floor. Looks at Heinrich.
Something is in those berries, I swear.
They're just blueberries, man.
No, it can't be. They're evil. I can feel it in my gut.
He quickly grabs a bucket and just, like, throws it into the line of vomit.
Evil.
He looks at the officer. I guess you're taking him? The officer nods. They both just look at you.
What?
The officer comes over to you. Heinrich, you know the drill.
Don't touch me.
Hands in front.
No.
If you don't fight me this time, I'm not gonna take you back to the jail.
Fine. He puts one hand in front and then realizes that he didn't attach his other hand, just like looks down.
Go ahead.
Reels it in and puts it on.
I don't care how many times the chief says that it's not, I really think that thing should be registered as a weapon.
It's not the weapon. I'm a weapon. I should be registered. I shouldn't be registered, I'm not the weapon.
He cuffs you. And begins to lead you back home, leaving Alan on the ground. Fred continuing on business as usual. This is probably a scene that's happened a few times in the past.
I need my bike. Where's Sally?
He straps the bike to the hood of his car.
Hey, no crashing that.
And so you continue on your way home.